Hi guys, I'm Vivian with Arkansas Dream Show. Thank you so much for watching. Today I'm in Pine Bluff, Arkansas with...
Hello, Vivian Flowers, State Representative, District 17.
Oh my goodness, and I really like your shirt. Very, very powerful.
Thank you.
When was this event?
This was at the Women's March right after the 2016 election. I believe it was in January. It was in January 2017, and it was so powerful.
Yeah.
Right in Little Rock.
Awesome. So we want to learn all about you and what state representatives do, and where are we at today?
Today we are at my re-election campaign headquarters, which is on Poplar and 13th.
I'm going to turn the camera around because it shows the letters different. Cool. That's so...
Yeah.
Real deal, you guys.
Real deal.
Real.
We keep it 100. We keep it 200.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're running a re-election campaign. This is the first time that I've had opposition where I'll be listed on the ballot with opposition and my constituents can vote for me. And I'm taking this race very seriously.
Excuse me, because camera on this side. Okay.
And so we have less than 30 days before Election Day on November 6th.
You nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
My birthday is November 4th. So it will be around my birthday, special day.
Yeah, it is a special day. And actually, early voting starts on October 22nd. So people can early vote from October 22nd all the way through to Election Day on Tuesday, November 6th.
Cool. And what inspired you to become such a servant? Like this takes a lot. And you have to read a lot, learn a lot,
Yeah.
like
Talk a lot.
talk a lot.
I think since I was a kid, I really wanted to do this. I don't think that I knew I could when I first started learning about politics and public service and service in government. But, oh, come in.
Yeah, we're actually gonna come into the headquarters. So that's cool. I'm gonna turn the camera on you. Continue. So since you were a little girl.
Yep. So I had several history classes, civics classes. One of my favorite teachers was Mr. Justice, and I got a chance to learn so much about how politics and government and public protest policy could change lives, especially in the lives of African Americans, where I read about so many horrific things that happened in the history of the country. And at every turn where there's been a change, whether it was for African Americans or Latinos or women, poor people, farmers, no matter which group that might have been underserved or oppressed, it always bubbled up to public protest and public engagement and a change in the law that helped lead the way to a change in our culture and a change in society and changes in people.
And now you get to do this.
I do get to do this and I love it.
And we are taking a little tour.
Yeah, so this is the kitchen. So we don't just work, we do take a little break to eat, drink a little water, drink a little pop, even though we need to drink more water. And we have a few rooms, and we decided to do this, number one, because we're in the heart of the city, in the heart of District 17, number one. Number two, I love this space because we have different rooms. So we've had students, we've had seniors, we've had plenty of people here. And so we're able to divide up the space. And when people come in and make phone calls and phone bank, or when we meet and we do breakouts, we have the space to do it. And I love it. It just was God led me to this. And it's wonderful. So
yeah, I like that you let the students to learn.
Oh yeah.
That you give them the opportunity. This is very good. That you make it transparent. You show that this is real.
Yeah, it's real.
Good.
It's real. So this is where all the magic happens. I guess this is our war room, so to speak. And here is where. So we actually are not only a campaign headquarters for myself, but I opened up my headquarters for other candidates who are running statewide and running for Congress to leave their materials here, to have meetings, to send their campaign staff and volunteers here when they come to Jefferson County. And so, we have Jared Henderson, who's running for governor, Hayden Shamel, who is running for Congress in the 4th District, and she's awesome. She's a teacher. Jared worked in the education sector and business sector, and I'm not kidding. He almost was like an astronaut because he trained and worked for NASA for many years. So he's really interesting. Susan Inman.
That is so sweet of you that you let them do like that.
She is running for Secretary of State. And she's awesome. She's had international experience in terms of elections and worked for the county clerk in Pulaski County. Mike Lee is an attorney. He's running for Attorney General and really, really has a heart for the people. And has really talked about the Attorney General's office being more responsive and responsible for protecting the people, protecting consumers, and focusing on ethics and Arkansas politics. So I really appreciate him and have been listening to him. So this is where we have signs. It's our tiny room where we have signs, and we have t-shirts and more t-shirts. So if you come and volunteer, you can get a t-shirt.
Yeah. There's a very powerful picture on it.
Yeah.
Look at this. So I am totally getting the sign.
Yeah, we still have, you can take a sign.
I live in a very busy
still
street.
have some signs left.
So
yeah.
it's so nice of you that you let other people use your headquarters.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, so state representative.
Yes.
I read a little bit before I came here. What do you guys do?
Well, it's supposed to be a part-time citizen position. It really is full-time if you put everything you have into it. And so we have the component of actually making laws. So during the legislative session every 2 years, we actually come together and many of us file legislation, and we actually try to push it through the process to get it passed in our respective chambers and in the other chambers, so the House and the Senate. And hopefully the governor will sign it, but the governor doesn't have to sign it to become law.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we also live in a state where if the governor vetoes, it doesn't take a larger vote, a larger proportion of the chambers, the legislative chambers, to pass it again. You still need just the majority. So 51 in the House, because there are 100 of us, and there are 35 members of the Arkansas Senate. And so
That's so complicated.
Yeah. It's really not. It's really not.
Are there any particular issues that you address, or were you able to push anything through that you were passionate about?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about two laws that I was really passionate about and worked really hard on with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. So for Pine Bluff, we got passed in the last legislative session a bill that designated, has designated Highway 65 from Pine Bluff all the way to the Louisiana line as the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Highway. And so that began with a constituent, one of our favorite sons, Jimmy Cunningham, coming to Pine Bluff and making a presentation about the possibilities in highlighting our culture and the history of arts and politics and everything in Pine Bluff. And we really have such a beautiful, rich history. So I was just in awe. I mean, I think at one point I was crying. And when he talked about his vision, we got to talking and we talked about a highway, we talked about legislation, and we just together ran with it. And everybody in the delegation, Republican and Democrat, men and women, I don't care how you try to divide us up, we all came together and supported that legislation. So it was really fun. And there's several aspects to it, and it's a slow-moving project, but it really is moving. As a matter of fact, I believe on November 30th, the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Project will be hosting a concert featuring Bobby Rush and in support of the project.
So now this highway is called
the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Highway. And so when you drive down to DeShay County, for example, you'll see a sign that says that, and that's just the beginning. So in addition to the sign, there are some partnerships with Pine Bluff Rising And I know that many people have seen the big sign on the Pines Hotel and may have seen some signs downtown in the old building next to the new the cupcake shop. They're going to be renovating that space to create a brewery and pub. So there really are things happening outside of, you know, the taxes or whatever that go forward, which, you know, I pray that everything that people, the framers and supporters or proponents of Go Forward said would happen, will happen, but people need to know and be excited that there's so many other people who love Pine Bluff and who are committed and who are serving Pine Bluff and who are really making things happen as well.
Like you. Yesterday I was talking to Michael Rogers, and he said that we need to create heroes in Pine Bluff. And he actually mentioned your name.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And he said that we do have people in Pine Bluff who we can call to and address our issues. And we want to be listened to, not just by the City of Pine Bluff, not just by Go Forward, but other heroes. And we have heroes in Pine Bluff, and you're one of them.
And I was talking too much, too. I didn't explain, too. So aside from making laws during the session and the interim session, we have meetings where we do provide oversight for rulemaking and all of these agencies that spend all of your tax dollars. It's our job to make sure that they're spending it effectively and wisely, and that the job that they're supposed to be doing, whether it's the Department of Health, Department of Human Services, Department of Corrections, Department of Education, all of them, you know, run and because of you. Because when you work, money comes out of your check. And so it's our job to watch over them. And then we have an office where we do get some support in the House, since I'm in the House, for constituency services. So a lot of times we do citations, or people need letters, or people actually need advocacy. So there have been many people who called me over the years because they couldn't get the kind of response they need to if they were trying to get some sort of benefits, whether it's Medicaid or whether it's licensure for their profession, or their small business might be shut down. I mean, there are a lot of things that we can do when we pick up the phone to try to help our state agencies connect with our constituents and make sure that their needs are met. And so that is really, really sort of the root of the important work, really.
Yeah, because you are a representative and you listen, and it's really amazing that you're just a contact that's available 24/7 with social media.
And sometimes people do think it's 24/7. I get calls all over weekend, early, late night, whatever. But you know, that's what I signed up for, and it really is a wonderful privilege and a gift to be able to serve people and to be able to help people. And whenever I can kind of step in and stand in the gap and help someone where otherwise they wouldn't be able to be helped, it really does make any hardship or any sacrifice or whatever worthwhile. So
this is so
it's all good.
And I love that you're willing to take on the responsibility to literally be the voice of thousands of people. That's a big responsibility.
It is, but you know what? People do it. You take on the responsibility of being a voice and making sure others have voice, and thousands of people watch what you do. My dad is a pediatrician. My mom was educated as, and for a long time worked as a social worker, and then worked in, there is service in everything we do. And I want to make that point, that so many people work so hard no matter what their job is. And if we continue that work and build together and really see the work we do, whatever it is, as service, whether we're actually serving someone, in a restaurant, as an accountant, as a doctor, as a custodian, whatever, everybody plays a role, and there really is dignity in all work. And I'm just grateful that the people of District 17 have entrusted me with this work to help make Pine Bluff, District 17, Jefferson County better.
That is so good. Please tell us, from your professional opinion, why voting is so important.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that.
Please
question.
let us know.
It is your voice. It is, it's something that represents your power as a person, as a citizen, that no one can buy. You don't have to have money. It really is, just as education is a great equalizer, so is the power of the vote. And if it wasn't important, people would not be trying to purge your vote. People would not be trying to take it away. Many people who have felony records, for example, think that they can never vote again in the state of Arkansas. Couldn't be further from the truth. When someone has gotten in some trouble and paid his or her debt to society, you can vote. You get your you get your discharge papers from your probation officer or from the Department of Correction. You take those discharge papers to the county clerk's office and you fill out your form and you get registered. It is as simple as that. You do not have to be pardoned by the governor. You do not have to get your record expunged. You pay any money. You pay your debt to society, whether it's fees, fines, restitution, probation, parole, prison sentence, or what have you. At the end of all of whatever you have been given or handed down as a sentence or a punishment, when you are done, you are done. You get your paper. They call it when you off paper. When you off paper and you get your discharge papers, you have fully regained all of your rights as a citizen therein. You take that paper, you go to the county clerk's office, which is in the courthouse here in Jefferson County, and you register to vote and you make your voice heard. If there is any group of people, particularly in this age of mass incarceration and excessive use of force by law enforcement officers who should not be law enforcement officers and give really good law enforcement officers a bad name, that is important. And a lot of folks talk about black on black crime and why don't you pay attention to that? People do pay attention to crime. There's no such thing as black on black crime or white on white crime or Latino on Latino crime. There is crime and it tends to happen in your community. And your community is where you tend to live near people who look like you. So if you look at the statistics of Caucasians who are murdered or whose homes are broken into, an overwhelming majority of those crimes are going to take place at the hands of other people who look like them. Same thing with African Americans, same thing with Latinos. And at the end of the day, we all have different cultures. You know, race is a man-made construct, and I won't even get into that. But at the end of the day, I don't care where you come from, people want to live in safe neighborhoods. People want to be safe. And people, you know, want to have a good quality of life. And that's what I'm committed to in everything that I try to do as a legislator and as a public servant.
And I like your slogan you mentioned at the debate that they just had.
Committed to community.
Yes.
That's it.
That is so well said. Simple, straight to the point.
And
we see you doing exactly that. You're very involved and you care and you can tell. I mean, you just can't tell that you care. So we thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
We want to wish you best of luck.
Thank you. Vivian Flowers, re-elect Vivian Flowers District 17.
And when, again, the election is?
November 6th. Early voting starts October 22nd. Last day to register is Tuesday, October 9th, which is this coming Tuesday. If you have not registered, please do so. If you can't register until after that, that's okay. Get your family members to register. Get your family members out to the polls so that we can get people in these offices who can
make a difference.
Make a positive difference for all Arkansans, including South Arkansas, including the Delta, and especially including District 17 in Pine Bluff and Jefferson County.
Well said. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.